to force things. Welcome to our Woo Wednesday. I'm Devi Jade, and with me today is our wonderfully beautiful, amazingly smart. So,
hello. Well, you have exactly 15 minutes to stop all that.
Right. Okay. So that wasn't me. We're going to talk about forcing things. Now, see, that was very easy. It was nice. It was easy. So forcing things, we're going to talk about it in maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 little tiny sections today. And the first section is forcing our way into a person's life when they said no. Okay. Now listen, because I'm just going off the top of my head, spirit something. The second one is forcing your child. Do we do that? Or how do we handle that? Okay. And then the opposite is how to force your way into a job. Do you do it or do you not do it?
Ooh.
You write that down because, I mean, it literally
I got them. It's on my notepad. When you see me looking down, I'm writing.
Like the total note person.
You know me with my notes, always. And everybody, you guys should be taking notes. And if you don't have a notepad like I do, then just open up the comment section and just take notes there. And then you'll never lose your notes.
Right?
There they will be.
Because we're going to get this really cute little notepad thing that says woo woo, and then you guys can get that and grab that too. Okay, so let's.
All right. Well, the first one you were saying or what happens when somebody forces themselves into your life. This just reminds me, you know, I teach on boundaries, and a personal boundary defines where I end and where another person begins. And so forcing yourself into somebody's life is just the opposite of respect, love, and allowing. It's the opposite of anything close to spirituality or practicing law of attraction principles.
Yeah, so let's just say that okay, I actually remember this. I'm gonna tag along this. Okay.
On me?
So when we went to this amazing place, December, okay, and there was a person. We had everything full, and there was a particular person that was attempting to force their way in. So do you want to tell the rest of that story, how that worked?
Please go. Please, you.
Okay. Because
this one's all you. You tell this one.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to take any flack for this. Shit like this happens, you guys. I can say shit down in hell. Oh, I say bullshit sometimes, so I can do that. So, okay. So what happened was we had planned out who was going to stay in this hotel. Jane's like the amazing arranger of everything.
Oh, it's my husband.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, right before we left, there was a particular person that contacted her and said, "Hey, I've decided I want to go, and I need a place to stay, and I want to stay with you guys." Like she was telling us how wonderful that would be for us. And Dr. Jane, I'll be Jane, and she's like, "Jade, I don't know." And I'm like, just tell her no. Okay, I mean, because here's the thing, you guys, even us as healers and people that work with all this stuff, little things do come up like this, and our little person goes, "Oops, now what?" Okay, so we help each other. I said, just tell her no, she's not coming. She goes, "Well, I'm not getting a good feeling about it." I said, she's not coming. Okay, and that was really based on some experiences we'd had recently with this particular person, and we knew that the energy of that, all of us would go lower.
Well, yeah, because I took great care in inviting only who I knew would like flow together to stay at that villa together so that we'd have a high vibe and a wonderful week. And when this person reached out, I was like, my dilemma was there was space for someone, but there wasn't space for that.
Yeah, we didn't want space for that. And you know, well, okay, you guys, so here's the thing is we're talking about boundaries. You know, when shit comes your way, it smells. Now you can kick dirt over it, but you know, you might miss it and step in it again. And then what are you going to do? And that is a lovely little metaphor for what happens. And then we wonder why did we invite that? Why did we do that?
It's on your shoe and you're wondering why you're smelling poop all the time. And you're like, it's on my shoe.
Yeah. And that one person really, here's the thing that too, this person really didn't care enough about us. They were thinking of themselves and how they were going to come into our space and convert us to what she was doing. There was a huge agenda and we could feel it. And you guys, trust your gut. Trust it. It's okay to say no. It is a sentence. It is.
No is a complete sentence. I always say that.
And you know what? It's a good thing we didn't, because you know what happened? She didn't come anyway. And this is what was really great, because Spirit said, we're calling you this way. So she actually, here was what happened is she had a choice to go take care of her mother that really needed her or come with us. And I'm like, whatever, she needs to go take care of her mother. Say no. So there really was something bigger on that side that she was going to choose out of. And we just helped her along, if you want to look at it as a higher vibration.
Absolutely. And something that you just something you just said about no, no is a sentence all in itself. We actually have a guide how to say no without saying no. So if saying no is something that you're not comfortable doing, will you check out the video description and download? It's freebie. It's a little free ebook that you can download, and it'll help you kind of work through and create your own no language that doesn't have any guilt involved or whatever. But Jade, honestly, when I made that phone call and I was like, she's asking, I knew the right answer, but I was doubting my inner voice. And so my inner voice was like, well, if you're not going to listen to me, call Jade and let her tell you. So, honestly, even that phone call shouldn't have happened if I was trusting my inner voice as I should.
Okay, so here's something to that. Like I was saying when we were talking, we have with these things, and I mention this a lot, you guys, they're called human moments, because we are people that really want to serve everybody. And it's like, well, but if you have a gut that this person's serving themselves, we're clannish. We do need to bounce off of each other sometime. And thank you, Jane, for respecting me, because she came to a person that knew that I would say, cut her off.
Well, and the thing is, like, my logical mind was like, but there is space for another human here. And then my spiritual mind was like, there is never space for the energy she's going to bring into your sacred experience.
Okay, so anyway, we wanted to share that with you guys because we want you to know that it's okay to say no when your gut tells you that, okay? And our guts were telling us that. Yeah. So,
I'm really interested in your point number 2 about kids.
Yeah. Okay, I guess this is our no thing. So, all right, so I tell people, because I have a little slew of children, and I've had to learn with all the different little personalities that are going along what I can do. And I learned early on in trainings that I was doing after, again, I was doing all my own personal work. And before I was called to this space, they said, oh, children are wonderful. They're mirrors of you. And you should never say no to them, distract them. And I did that. And I'm going to tell you, my oldest daughter, she still can do this thing. See this? It's like walking on me. Okay. And I had to learn to set really strong boundaries as we got older. And she's still stuck in some of the older stories like, oh, that's just mom. I'm just going to walk on her. Okay. And because I became her friend. And please don't, yes, be kind with your daughters. Whole different dynamic with sons. Kind with your daughters, but you really can't be a friend to them. And that's such a fine line there. It's like we love and respect and all this, but she just wouldn't hear the no word. Because I learned that. I was trained, don't tell your child no. So 3 of my kids heard that. Then when the 2 came much later down the road, same husband, you guys, just so you know, everybody asked me that, just so you know, now you know. Okay, so down here, I had the last 2, and I learned to say no. You hear how loud that was? Because, first they were boys. I said no. And I learned that they needed a boundary. So this
Absolutely. They're hungry for boundaries.
It does, it sets a boundary. I couldn't, my little son poked a fork into the, boys are boys, they do funny things. He poked it into the plug, Now, it's like you could say, well, where were you? Well, where was I? This was my wanderer child. And he was just in there. And they had a campfire in the bedroom too. What am I supposed to say? Oh, what a wonderful thing. I'm so glad you're so creative. Because that's what I learned before. Like, put all the positivity on there. And it's like, I say, no, you don't light fires in the bedroom on the floor. Okay.
I mean, I think that, you know, it's not necessarily even forcing things with your kids there. It's teaching them how life works, because there's rules everywhere. They get a car, there are rules. The stoplight, the red means no, stop. You know, and so you're just training them to be okay with boundaries, because they're going to have them forever.
And it's tonality. Okay, so there are the barky nose. I tell people, think about mother bears. Think about animals that are teaching their young. So I pick a mother bear because she's with her young for about almost 2 years, quite a long time. And do you think that she just says, well, they're climbing up the tree, it's probably going to come down on them. Oh, well, I'll just to see, maybe I'll just not pay attention. No. And if they're, or like, think of the lion when the cubs are all rolling on her.
I know.
Annoyed. Yeah, it's like, rawr. Okay, so there is a mother bear-ness. They are teaching in the best way. I tell people, you know, to go to the dog whisperer and get his books, because if you treat your children like little puppies, because they are little puppies, and then you'll have an energy of command, and they simply won't. They really will kind of back up.
Yeah, somebody has to be the alpha.
Yeah, it's an alpha energy. And my daughter, because she learned that not the, you know, don't be the friend, she's been stronger with her 2 children, and they do back up a little bit. And I noticed that one of my very dearest friends, we grew up as girls together. We thought it'd be fun to have husbands together. We did that, and we had kids together. I don't know how we did all that, but we did. And she was not, she's a friend with her daughters now as they're grown women. But because she commanded that respect as she was going on, and she gave them things, she supported them. She did all those things that mothers do, but she just never was their friend until much later. They have a much different respect for her than this one daughter. Now, mind you, this daughter loves me, so please don't misunderstand. We get along perfectly, but there's a pattern that I have to break it. And now so let's say that, how do you break a pattern with your child? Because all I hear is no, no, no. You just simply tell them that was, I just say that was then, we are in a different relationship now, next. And because they're more cognitive, they can, sort things through. Yeah. It works a lot better.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, and I mean, people always come to us to break patterns. And the thing that I tell them is, of course, this other person isn't going to immediately follow the new pattern that you've set. You have to remain consistent with them and teach them the new boundary. Then they'll adhere to it, but it might take 1, 2, 3, 20, 100 times. They're going to eventually fall in line. And I mean, with kids, gosh, I should really have my girls here to talk to you about this instead of me, because they'll be like, oh, you won't believe what mama makes us do. But, there's no all over the place, but it's not just like, no, slap your hand. It's no, this is wrong because of this. And here's a notepad, and I look forward to reading your essay on the choice that you made, why, and the other choice that you would have made if you had a do-over.
Okay, now here's something to finish this little piece up, because it actually came into my head. So let's just say you're out. You're the adult. You're out. And you're in a public place, and you're in the park area of the public place. And this happened. So my little granddaughter, yes, I know, I don't look like I have grandkids.
I know. She doesn't look old enough to have grandbabies, guys.
So anyway, she was climbing up all of the little things in there, and I was, of course, with her so that she could go down the slides, and these bigger kids kept cutting her off. Now, she's littler. I'm going to say something to those older children. I'm going to say, look, no, let her go. It's her turn. And I've gotten the eyes from mothers. I have. But the thing is that they don't even know their boundaries with littler people. And it's up to us as adults to set those. I wasn't rough. I just said, no, she needs to go first. And mind you, guess what happened? That child knew it was a respect thing. They automatically know it inside, and then started allowing her to go forward in a respectful way, not resentfully, just respectfully. And it then would bond those two children together, because on some level, this little boy that was cutting her off was giving her, as a little girl, this "I respect you as the little woman that you are and will be," you know? And so she felt good about it. So they got a win-win there.
Yeah. But I mean, the big point here is you just laid down the law and came in with that alpha energy. You didn't force these kids to get out of the line. And it's the difference between commanding from a higher energetic place versus forcing. Forcing is a very low level energy. It's not intellectual. It's not employing a great amount of emotional intelligence. So just set boundaries and live with them. And that is your strength. There's no need to force.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, you know, and as a person, I work with a lot of little children, a ton of them, and I literally believe that I see them, I see them inside, so I know what they're, you know, where they are as that authentic spirit that wants to really shine out there. So if there's an opportunity that comes along, and I will make that move into that, so they can shine for the moment that and they'll say, "Oh, I really did that. That's great." You know, so yeah. So please know that I love children. Actually, work with a lot of them.
Oh yeah, you're wonderful with kids.
So
She's
what's
my babies too. What about job? What about forcing things in a professional setting?
Well, I'm like the person that's always worked. Like, I don't work in a work setting. I hear it all. Okay, so I know what the corporate garbage is.
Well, I mean, can I just tell you real quick, like the one time that I did not follow my gut instinct about a position that was offered to me, you know, I interviewed, it just was kind of off. It was offered to me, you know, and when I declined it, and the general manager called and was like, "I'm really shocked because you aced this interview. You seemed really excited." I was like, I'm always totally excited to meet new people, just energetically. And I just remember him kind of like laughing a little bit on the phone. I mean, this was years ago. But I said, energetically, I don't think that I'm a good fit for your team. And I definitely don't think that I'm a good fit for the manager that I would be assigned to. So yeah, I think it's a hard pass for me. And he was like, "Give me 48 hours." And he went back and retooled some things and came back and was like, "Okay, different manager, this, that," addressed every single thing I said in the call. I wasn't ugly to him. I really like this guy. And he was kind of forcing it to fit, the concerns that I had had. And still something just didn't feel right, but there was this guilt. There was this thing that I was like, oh man, he actually really, really wants me there. He's changed all these things to suit what I asked for. Oh, Jade, bad juju. It was really bad. I wasn't there very long. When I left, I ended up leaving quite suddenly. And it was just a very, very unhappy place. It was bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys, we do get those gut instincts. Actually, it reminded me this morning, right before we got on the call, I inspired to take certain calls. I do have my morning that I need to get ready, but this particular person called and said, "Okay, I'm going to be going in for that interview, but everything that they told me the other day, they've changed it all. I'm not sure." And I said, "Well, first and foremost, you manifested that job, because this person did. It was nothing I saw. They were forcing themselves to get a job because they feel it's really their identity," which we've been working ferociously on breaking that addiction. So they manifested a job, and I looked at it the other day. I said, "Well, they're not telling you the truth." And here it came today when they called me and said, "I have to go in there and sit down with them, and they're telling me all these things. They want 15 references." I'm like, who doesn't ask for 15 references?
Man, okay, I've done vetting for companies, and I have never asked anyone for 15 references. 6.
I have people in very, very high level jobs. I've never heard of it. So I said, they're seeing how desperate you are, because again, here's the thing, you guys, in anything, forcing it. She was forcing the energy. She had a low, desperate energy that met with another low, desperate energy, and they collided. And now this person was just going to really gobble her up. I said, you know what? Don't even go to the interview. And she said, loyalty thing again. Well, but, you know, I said, what have you got to lose? I said, he's already lied to you. So you lie, and you said you got another job. So she goes, well, I don't owe him anything.
Don't even lie. Just say, hey, I'm already feeling like this isn't an energetic match.
Yeah. I told her to just bow out of it. Just like, this isn't a fit for me. So we were talking, we were laughing about it. So she said, I don't really have to go, do I? I said, no, you don't have to go. And remember, you manifested that. And I told her again, desperate energy, desperate energy. Good lesson. I said, see, you get to learn that. And she said, great. And she felt good and got off the phone. So yeah, that does happen. That does happen.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, if anybody ever asks for more than 3 personal and 3 professional references, as somebody who has done reference checks on people, when I want more references, I ask the references for references, because that's where the truth is. It's the second tier. You don't ask the person who's applying. That's crazy. I would run from there.
Well, and especially with this particular person, she's actually earned the right. She's really a master at what she does in business. And for them to ask her for 15, and they were like they weren't a great, they're just a teeny in between job. And I thought, well, that's what you get, because really she's forcing something when her guides are telling her, just, yes.
You know, psychologically, what they're trying to do to her is say, you know, you think you're hot shit, or your resume says that you're hot shit, but we don't think you are. So we're going to make you like squirm.
I told her, I said, they're going to see how desperate you are about how many hoops you're going to jump through. And then when you get in there, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yes, if she takes that job, it's going to be a nightmare. Why? Because there was force involved, just like when I took that one position. Now, were there good things that came out of that position that I took? Absolutely. One of my very best friends I met on that job, and I wouldn't have her right now if I hadn't, you know, probably wouldn't have her if I hadn't had that job. There's no reason that our lives would have crossed in some other place. So can good come out of like crap situations? Yeah, but don't force it and see what'll come out.
Oh yeah, no, she didn't take it, but I wanted to share that too, because that does happen. You know, you feel, so she's going, okay, this could be forced, but this was the other thing, when a person forces, when you've been guided to just chill out for a little while, and you get so desperate, you just go, I'm going to just do this myself. I don't really care what they have to say. Too bad for you. I'm driving. So I'm, and you just want to surrender. Just allow.
Surrender. That's the word. Everybody, that's your word for today. Surrender. Awesome. Fantastic. So bottom line, trying to force things, bad things happen. Don't do it. Surrender.
Yes.
Awesome. If this has been helpful to you at all, give us a big fat thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and then hit that little bell. What are you doing? Warren?
Making thumb ears? I don't know.
Mickey Mouse?
No, it's making.
All right, now we're just silly. All right, don't forget to subscribe, hit that little bell so you'll know the next time we get real silly on a new video that we drop for you to be happier, more successful with lower stress. We'll see you next time.